direct and inverse proportion. So two quantities are directly proportional if when one increases, the other increases. So they're in direct proportion. If, let's say, one variable is x and it's increased, the other variable, maybe y, is also increased. They'll be in direct proportion. If they're in direct proportion, they'll form a linear relationship starting from the origin. If two variables are in inverse proportion, when one increases, say x, the other one decreases. And the graph of something being in inverse proportion will be a hyperbola, looking something like that. If they're in direct proportion, the equation that they'll form will be y equals some constant times the other variable. If they're in inverse proportion, it'll be some variable equals a constant divided by the other variable. So some examples of things being in direct proportion might be the number of hours worked and the amount of money you make, because the more hours you work, the more money you make. Something being in inverse proportion might be the speed that you're traveling at and the time taken to get there, because the faster you go, the quicker you'll get there, the less time it will take. Let's have a look at an example. So, say we have two variables. One is the number of Lahoud mathematics videos watched, and the other is the time spent watching videos. So let's call the number of videos watched N and the time spent watching T. Now, question might say something like the time spent watching is directly proportional to the number of videos watched. And the first part might be to write an equation that shows the relationship between the two variables. So if the time spent watching is directly proportional to the number of videos, well, time spent watching is directly proportional to the number of videos watched. That's how we form our equation. So here it's showing time spent is directly proportional, which means we need to multiply by a factor of k to the number of videos watched. So if watching 20 videos takes 100 minutes, find k. So we know if we're watching 20 videos, that's the number of videos. So n will be 20. Time taken to watch those videos is 100, so t is 100. And we can now find k by dividing both sides by 20. And k is 100 divided by 20, which is 5. So that becomes our new, once we find that value of k, it stays true the whole time. So the new equation becomes t equals 5n. So next question. If you watch 72 videos, how much time do you spend watching? So here, well, number of videos is going to be 72. So we can put that in our formula. So it just becomes 5 times 72. So we get t equals 360 minutes. And we can divide that by 60. to get time spent watching is 6 hours. And that means you learned something really good, I'm sure.